Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Nyaji chimbo todo nyume ya zone malam jimbo nga byada bagardanga zando yerma do domba tuji jan Kifyan tsar shome juje anje pabrana disum sanji kinjing wanye rangsum cherga ngonsum tomze be tsawe lama namla kifyan tsar dawson rowe lorna chula jer. All right, correcting your motivation and then teaching again about how to relax the mind. Meditation is a wonderful thing, and meditation is a great teacher, and it is very necessary in our life. Are you okay? So meditation is very important, and meditation changes our life. But as you know, it is not always easy. Because there are some obstacles that are commonly encountered when we begin to meditate. Usually what happens is when we meditate for an hour, for example, for a half hour, we are maybe concentrate and relaxed, but maybe half hour distracted because all of these thoughts, because natural activity of our mind is produced usually, to produce lots of thoughts. Therefore, we need to understand how to work with our thoughts, and we need to, we need a good discipline. When you meditate, and so you see, when you meditate, you're thinking. Sometimes you're thinking. Sometimes you're not thinking, but automatically, kind of, your thoughts appear and kind of destroy your meditation. Means like you follow your thoughts, then you are not focused anymore. Whatever you focus on when you meditate, but your thoughts, when your thoughts arise, appear, you don't really need to. The teachers always say that you don't really need to disconnect it from them, and you don't need to escape from the situation. Rather, you allow the mind to be tolerant of the situation. So if you do that, this helps calm the mind. And when you are able to remain in calm and clear meditation, then you find you're gaining rather than losing your energy. So we usually waste a lot of our energy and are mentally and physically fatigued. But meditation helps to relax the mind, not only mind, like physical, your body, of course, mind. And that increase in energy helps to stabilize your practice. So therefore, when you meditation is very important. And also when you have these lots of problems, you need to understand the instructions. What should we do? When you sit on cushion and when you start meditate, should I think? Should I investigate? Should I think about my problems? So there are lots of going on when you meditate, because when you just try to relax, but it's not really relax your mind. So what we face every day is unpredictable, right? Because things happen due to multiple causes and conditions. Therefore, the mind can never be focused without training. That's why they call it a wild mind, right? And the mind cannot be purified without meditation. So within Tibetan Buddhism, there are many different kinds of practice. But first of all, building your daily practice is very important, very important. You need to establish a formal practice schedule, because in this way, your practice will progress gradually. So therefore, it's very important daily practice. And if you want to do that, and if you want to practice every day, some people have already sort of schedule and practice, but some people don't. If you're not sure what kind of meditation practice you should do for your daily practice, then I think you should start by practicing a kind mind and relaxation for your daily meditation practice. So kind mind and relaxation, because it can change your negative actions, the way you see, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you perceive, and so on. So practicing a kind mind is the essential point. Okay, through that we can clearly see what is Dharma and what is not Dharma. So this practice alone gives us a great chance to Dharma practice into our daily life. No matter how much we know about Buddhism, it's all pointless without a kind mind. It is easy to do Dharma activities such as, reciting mantras and saying prayers and, making offerings and things like that with this selfish mind. But in reality, the genuine Dharma, which includes all these activities, actually means based on kind mind. Based on kind mind is a foundation of kind mind. Then you recite in mantra, then you offer in candles, then you say prayers, all of that kind of practice, all genuine Dharma. Also, based on kind mind, you practice like other things, nature mind, shamatha, vipassana, whatever you do, it's very good. But without a kind mind and relaxation, yeah, it's when you say prayers and reciting the mantras, all of that, right? And then force yourself, which is not kind mind, selfishly, and then your mind also not relaxed, while you're doing this, say mantras, recite all of this, you're thinking something else, especially like for a few times, then you probably memorize all these prayers and mantras, then you say it, it's very easy. But while you're saying it, you're thinking something else. That is not genuine Dharma practice. So, therefore, a kind mind and relax the mind is very important. And as you continue to practice your practice, you will feel your mind and your body become sort of very, relaxing and very comfortable and very like, you will experience like very light, This is a sign of, teachers say, your concentration. So deep concentration has the effect of slowing down your all thoughts, process. So it's the foundation of our meditation. So therefore, how to relax the mind. The relaxation is very important. Is like us, for meditators. And also, I think as meditators, we all must have a goal, commitment, discipline. All these are very important. And when you meditate, not always easy, right? So trust yourself. One thing, your own ability to deal with these situations. Because we have a Buddha nature, it's amazing, it's a wonderful thing. That is our jewelry, treasure, a very important thing we have. We possess Buddha nature, it's amazing. And also, don't set goals for yourself that are too high to reach, Be gentle with yourself and don't rush, don't rush. Don't think about, as I said, when you start to meditate and when you sit down and then, just be gentle and trust yourself, and then just do it slowly, sometimes good, sometimes not good, you practice, that's totally fine. And don't think about your problems during your practice, about work, about family, about all this, etc. Don't think about those things during your practice, because then you are not focused. Then you're not. You have not. Your mind is not relaxed. So therefore, don't think all of that. Just try to practice, and don't give up your goal. Very important. When I say this, I want to share a story about Buddha's life. Remember Buddha, I mentioned last time there is a Buddha story movie, like 20, 40, 50 episodes. I don't know how many, but it's a wonderful, very, 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 very nice Buddha story. If you have chance, please watch it, because last time I went back to Tibet and I had a month with the family, and then I watched that by myself. There are lots of episodes, and so it's really wonderful. I felt like I really close to Buddha. And I always bring my statue, like gold statue, I have that. Usually I have, okay, this I have to bring, wherever I go, I have to bring this with. And then usually I think I have a statue, right? But then since after I watched the movie, I think this is not really a statue. Buddha is always with me. Like I feel like that. And then especially those movies, it's just amazing. So if you have time, just watch it slowly, little by little. So when I watched the Buddha, there are so many nice about this impermanence and about all of these four thoughts. I heard this millions times before, when I was in Tibet and studied Buddhist philosophy like that. But they have a different version. I understand the meaning, but the way say it is so beautiful. I think maybe they pick up those from like Pali language or Sanskrit language in India, something. It's we had these teachings, but when the translators translated different ways. So I learned a lot from this movie. So there are so many nice quotes, from Buddha himself and his sutras, So therefore, but then there is a story. Buddha left from his royal family. He left, and without his parents' permission, so he just left. And then there was a time when he came home after attaining enlightenment, and his father was upset because he had quickly made one of his very important attendants, like a very important student, his name is Ananda. And then when he left, he had a son, named Rahula, his son, Buddha's son is Rahula. So when he quickly made them like, Ananda and Rahula monks, and his father upset. And his father said, what are you doing? I had only given you permission to tend Ananda for a month, and Rahula, your son, is only a boy, and he could become king, because back then India is not like now. Now India is one country, but back then, this is thousands of years ago, right? So there are different countries inside India. There are different kings like that. So Buddha and he has another brother. So they both left from the royal family, and then his father has no, hope that somebody's take over his, king. So he think, okay, Rahula is Buddha's son, so maybe he could be, the Rahula become a king. But then Buddha made him a monk, So why, his father was very upset. Why you have let them become a monk so quickly? And the Buddha kind of smiled and told his father, that there are only two ways this path can feel. One way is to abandon the path before you have attained your goal. Today I want to share this because of these two things. Buddha said, two ways this path can feel. So one way is abandon. You give up, this path before you have attained your goal. That's one thing. And he said another thing is to never begin at all. Okay? So Buddha told his father, and you should rejoice that they each had taken their first step on the path. So that's the one thing. So when we meditate, it's so hard. Sometimes, like sometimes you don't see what is the benefit. Sometimes you don't see. They're talking about this enlightenment, liberation, nature of mind, all of these things. You don't see all of that, so you have no idea. And then it's when you meditate, it's like you feel like I'm wasting my time and I'm doing nothing. There's no progress. There's no development. So and sometimes you feel like that, and that's very dangerous, an obstacle. Sometimes you give up. That's why many people this happen, right? Some people come and try to meditate, and then for a while comes and then disappear, never come because they think, maybe this is not correct. So they give up. So I think that's not good idea because Buddha knows that, he told his father that. So therefore, never give up. It's meditation is especially when you start. It's very hard, very difficult. So two things: to start your path and don't give up. Just that's all. That's pretty easy to start your path and never give up. Just go slowly. Don't rush. Right? No expectations. No expectation. That's fine. Just go slowly. Today your meditation. Still, my meditation is like that. Sometimes very nice, very good, and sometimes horrible. It's very difficult. But I never think, like, oh, I can't do this. I never think like that. So, and at the same time, also, if you do this and slowly you will see it, you are better and better and better. I know that. So, because we all have this, what do you call it, mental struggles, and very difficulties is leading to stress and worries and selfishness and all of this. It's very difficult, but it's also very difficult for us to change the outer world, right, or control somebody's situation. But at least we can reduce sort of some of our negative action, emotions, selfishness, and make small changes one by one through meditation. That's very important. That's why I said, we need good discipline. Means like, you should see like not big change, but, slow change, slowly, like small changes one by one, your life. And remember, Shandandewa said that we always say this: for as long as space exists and for as long as sentient beings endure, may I to remain and to dispel the suffering of all beings. So I think it's very important to keep sort of this Mahayana aspiration in our mind, even though, like when we say for to dispel the all suffering of all beings, we don't have that capacity at this moment. But as long as we have this great aspiration in our mind, it gives us enthusiasm. That's why this Shantandewa, where bodhisattvas, he has this kind of all mantra, the prayers, right, that we never do. Like we can't do, like to dispel all the suffering of sentient beings. No way, impossible. Why he say this? Why we say these prayers and keep this in our mind? Because we need sort of confidence and enthusiasm. So therefore, if you keep, as long as you have this sort of great aspiration, Mahayana view, the Mahayana aspiration in your mind, it gives you like confidence and I can do this. You have, energy to practice, enthusiasm. And as Shantandewa also said that even if we lack power to help other in action, we should always keep the intention to do it. One who has that intention will actually engage in it. You see? Therefore, if we have such an aspiration, we may not able to accomplish vast help for other beings, but we will remain engaged. And I think that is very, very beneficial. So this is the Mahayana view, the openness of your heart, our heart. So it's very important, right? But sometimes it's difficult to fit and keep this profound Mahayana view, aspiration, with a small and narrow mind, you know. But through the practice of a kind mind, that's why I'm saying, through the practice of a kind mind, our selfish mind will lose sort of its power, okay? Through the practice of kind mind, then selfish will lose its power, so that we can keep our beautiful, kind mind, beautiful mind, you know. Otherwise, we have very not good, very ugly mind, selfishness. Selfishness, I just really don't like selfish people. You know, it's you don't. It's difficult because all these negative emotions, you know, control everything like that. Then we develop all the time, you know, negative things. But we should not develop the negative seed in our mind. Otherwise, you know, they will grow stronger, right? If we always thinking ourselves only and harm others, and then that is the habit, that is the negative. So they're, you know, grow stronger, and then there is really no chance to see the truth and develop a kind mind. Um, uh, as long as we develop selfish mind, there is no kind mind, for sure. And if we create more space in our mind, then there is a more sort of space, room to experience our daily life, you know, and more space to let our selfish mind sort of dissolve, diminish. So we should try to abandon harming others for the sake of our own happiness. That's one thing. That's the one thing. I think really this selfish and you know, wrong view. We all want you know, happiness and comfort and all of that. But if we sort of abandon sort of you know, um, uh, um, the kind mind, you know, like we harming others for our own happiness. Uh, that's not cause of our happiness. Um, so um, um, we all agree that, you know, everything that we do is actually to find happiness and comfort and like that. But you see, um, that's not, you know, like we're doing is sometimes wrong because we harming others uh, for our own happiness, right? And then that's selfish and that's wrong view. That's not Mahayana's view. So, you know, happiness very important, you know. Comfort, very important. You see, the whole world is racing towards their goal of finding their happiness, each one going faster than the others. That's Gendon Chumpel said that, right? But the most important cause of happiness is developing a kind mind and avoiding harming others as much as possible in our daily life, you know. So in this way, all of our activities become beneficial. So if we recognize that all of this happiness and all of this unhappiness depends on our mind, then it is very clear that we have to focus on mental actions, daily practice. Mental action means like a kind mind. I really believe that if we develop a kind mind, we're more happy and everything is this life, and if you believe future life, that's also very important. So if you have kind mind, there's lots of Buddha story about that. So it's everything. The cause of happiness is to develop a kind mind, and so therefore the essence of today's teaching is two things. One is avoiding harming others for our own happiness. And the second is to develop our own happiness. We must develop a kind mind. Where people sometimes we think about liberations and all of this high quality like that, but we're not there yet. We first need to really develop a kind mind so that we're not going to harm others. So we all know this, but our action sort of doesn't reflect that knowledge. So I think it's very important from now on we should think about these two things. And these two things, this is actually, that's all our meditation. That's all about Buddhism, And we should think about these two things and act accordance with these two things, So it's important to remember to begin with a positive attitude and to maintain openness, which is kindness towards both self and others. I'm not saying ignore ourselves and help others. I'm not saying that. But what we're doing is like we're harming others on our happiness. That's not just right, So we should slowly, change, our actions slowly, small things change every day. Buddha said that do not disregard small positive acts thinking they are without benefit, because even tiny drop of water will eventually fill a large container, right? You know that. So therefore, there is very great potential in meditation practice, even within a very short time. If you do it correctly, then even like 5 minutes, great beneficial, if you do it correctly. So, I've received many profound instructions on meditation from many great teachers and masters. But the most profound of all the instructions that I received was how to meditate on bodhicitta, how to develop a kind mind. So if you have bodhicitta, even your ordinary activities become a method for attainment of liberation. So it can destroy our ego mind, and it keeps us harmony with each others, with others, Therefore, Bhakti Rinpoche says we should start our practice with bodhicitta. If you do this practice according to the instructions, it will develop your heart, your mind, your capacity. Therefore, I always say this, Maha Rinpoche said, even we do not have the ability, it is the promise that wish to do it. If we don't give that up, We are a mentally engaged bodhisattva. So, from my own experience, I know that this meditation can have a profound benefit and makes you very, very happy. And it makes your life meaningful. Believe me, I have that feeling, I have that experience. The kind mind, bodhicitta mind, makes you very, very happy. You know, human beings have great potential that can be realized. Each one of us is capable of experiencing joy, love, kindness, openness. These experiences are our true nature, our liberation from suffering. So, keeping bodhicitta, my teachers always say, keeping bodhicitta or kind mind as the most important things. So, in the morning when you awaken, make a commitment that all of your actions that day will be benefit others. You have to do that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you need discipline, you need commitment, you need a goal. You need a small goal. Your goal is when you wake up every morning, you make a commitment that all of your whatever verbal action, physical action, mental action, all that day will be benefit others. And then remember not to harm others. So this is the way to develop a bodhicitta mind every single day. Set your good motivation and be mindful of your thoughts, your actions during the day. And of course, as ordinary people like us, when you notice negative thoughts arising in our mind, in your mind, try to transform in them, So, bodhicitta is the only way to handle the inevitable problems that will arise. Everything can be transformed by bodhicitta, as it is the antidote to our selfish motivation. So therefore, these things, right? Sometimes I have to remind you because sometimes you forget, and sometimes you don't know what to do. This kind of situation, I have very rough and difficult situation today. What should I do? People ask me that all the time. Remember your kind mind, It's very easy to say it, but it's very difficult to act. So that's very important. And then another thing is, when you start to meditate, you have to really understand, connect your mind, you have to understand your how to work with your thoughts. So usually, like when you start to meditate, you use sort of an object to focus on, right? Because then your mind is kind of has object, so that easy to lose it. I mean, not easy to lose it. And just to focus on that for short period of time, and then when the mind is a little bit concentrate, and then just rest, try to rest and meditate on the energy of relaxation, and eventually when an object doesn't seem necessary, then you can let it go and focus without an object. Means just on your awareness. That is how you relax your mind. How to relax the mind? First, you need object, and then so that your mind is just a little bit settled down, like calm down, and then just let it go, your object, and then kind of look inward and focus on your awareness. Normally, the mind is easily bored, right? When it's not doing anything. But when you are less bored, you feel like, when your mind doing nothing, but less bored, that means your meditation is progressing. And that means basically that you are experiencing the feelings of meditation. The real meditation, right? The real meditation, you are not doing anything. You're not doing anything. There's no visualization, no recitation, no activity, nothing. But you are not losing it. But we can do that. So therefore, we have all these methods, meditation, like this visualization, reciting prayers, you focus on object. These are not meditation, do you understand? These are just a method, how to relax your mind. But you cannot relax your mind without this method, because your mind is like, you cannot, it doesn't stay when you want to stay. It doesn't stay. So therefore, you need to use these tools, meditation, that's why we call it instructions, right? But when you visualize and say the mantras, all of this, these are just methods, not real meditation, but they're very good, very useful. So just focus the rest in mind instead of doing. Remember that, okay? As you know, in this samsara, our life is filled with distractions, dominated by ego mind. So the Buddha said that people would be extremely difficult to subdue because they are seeking only the things of this life. And because of that, we mistakenly engage in strongly these negative thoughts and actions. So therefore, it's not easy. It's Buddha himself said that it's difficult, especially this time, like 21st century. And his sutras actually already says that. So we're more and more difficult subdue our mind, train our mind, because all these distractions, and so because of that, we really sort of develop, we're engaged, we're strongly this negative, thoughts and all of this. So it will be difficult to immediately develop the realization of profound meditation. Buddha himself said that. But, never give up, if there is a problem, then just try to let it go rather than develop a habit, like bad habit. Because we usually, if we have a problem in our life, we can't let it go. We can't, because of this very strong habit, emotions, very difficult. But if we don't let it try to, we develop bad habit. From, negative habit comes negative actions. From negative actions comes negative result. That's what we call karma, So the basis of negative habits and actions and result is what? Selfishness. So, by thinking only oneself all the time, not thinking about others, we don't develop a kind mind, only thinking about ourselves all the time. And then we really create distance from others. And then what happens is eventually we feel very lonely, you know. That will happen if this, because of selfishness doing that, because we don't have a good relationship with others, and then eventually it will bring us a problem, big problem. I mean, people are very smart, I know that, but you know, the problem is our belief based on selfish mind. That's why, you know, the great teacher Genji Chimpel said, as long as we live in this world, we are developing many ideas based on selfish mind. So, you know, whatever is experienced in the state of this dualistic mind is what we call the selfish mind. The mind as we normally experience, like, you know, thoughts, emotions, and, you know, perceptions are all actually related to selfish mind, you know. So therefore, this is the main thing. That's why a kind mind is the antidote to selfish mind. So if you agree with me on this, then practice in bodhicitta, a kind mind, is really good instruction. It's really good instruction. So we should try to enjoy this samsaric thing. Very good. I like that. But, you know, without too much selfishness. That's, we can do that. There is, you know, we can find our happiness and comfort without harming others. We can do that for sure. And we can usually, like, spiritual life and samsara life are very different, right? But we don't have to give up samsaric life right away. We can enjoy samsaric things, but without too much selfishness. So that is about today's teaching. Yeah, kind mind, you know, a kind mind, and a commitment. Every day make a commitment. I am not going to harm others for my own happiness, right? So we can make that commitment every single day. Like when I say harming others for our own happiness means, like, you know, we killed somebody's life, destroy their life, and then we do something with it. That's harming others for our own happiness. Temporarily, you see that, you know that. You do this, then temporarily you're happy, but not that happiness is not last forever. Okay, now meditation. Meditate for a few minutes. This is, we have very common like meditation for a kind mind. Like we say, like giving and taking. Meditation is very common. Today I would like to use, like, this is like sending only, not taking. Sending bodhicitta practice. Okay, sending, we should do two things. One is sending bodhicitta practice and relaxation meditation. Okay, so that means first, of course, you should remember your aspiration to help others and your desire. This desire is very important. This desire is not negative. emotion. So you desire to develop your heart and ability to genuinely care for others. That's your motivation. And then for the meditation, sort of like visualize whoever you want to think about. And that would be your object for this meditation in front of you, you know. So to do this with your breath, which symbolize your breath, you know, symbolize your life, your wealth, your happiness, your physical and mental happiness, and also all your virtues of the past, present, and future. All of that goes toward the being or beings in front of you when you breathe out. And then imagine all of their unhappiness and suffering leaving their body and mind. Period. That's all. And then rest. Rest there for as long as you want. And means practice in one-pointed concentration. So you can concentrate on your breath or pick up something else like object or just no object. You just breathe out, send all of your good things, and then they will receive all of that and they're happy. And then you just relax there. And then when, again, practice sending your bodhicitta mind, which is sending your happiness to this again, these beings, and then rest your mind there as long as you can. And then go back your sending bodhicitta practice. When your thoughts arise, this is good, right? When your thoughts arise, when you relax there, no thoughts, then don't go back to sending practice, just relax on that. When your thoughts arise, instead of follow them, visualize again the sending bodhicitta and practice that. Breathe out and then relax there. Do this 2 hours alternately, millions of times. You know, because this is like your thoughts are all the time. And sometimes you can do this 4 or 5 minutes, and then sometimes you can't, and your thoughts are, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But this time your visualization is sending bodhicitta, and then relax, your mind. So through these 2 meditation, you can develop your kind mind and your relaxation. That's what I feel, because when you see you visualize in front of you, like people or whatever, animals, you wanted to think about it, and then you send your happiness, everything that, and then you relax. So that part you are developing your kind mind, and then relaxation, rest and meditation, we call it, right? That makes your mind relax and calm. So through this, both you can. Today we talk about kind mind and relaxation. So that's for your practice, okay? For 10 minutes.